Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So, we just got a huge announcement just in. MasterCard, JP Morgan, Visa, Wells Fargo, and other top US banks are testing shared ledger technology for tokenized asset settlements. Now, a lot of people have been quoting this and saying some crazy stuff, but the ultimate goal of this and the translation of this, even here, is top US banks are testing XRP. A lot of people are looking at it like that, but more so, what I think is happening here is pretty much every single US bank, all top US banks now are moving towards this new financial system that's going to be dominated heavily by DLT and blockchain based technology. It's not just going to be XRP. No, it's going to be multiple projects. I'm going to talk about that in this video as well. But I actually want to dive on into this and really go through pretty much everything within this announcement. So first and foremost, let's go over here to Larry Fink. So big shout out to Good Morning Crypto for this. Now, I've included this clip in videos in the past already, but we have just in MasterCard, JP Morgan, Visa, Citibank, Wells Fargo, and other big US banks are testing shared ledger technology for tokenized asset settlements. Bloomberg report. Here's a video of BlackRock CEO explaining how tokenization is the next evolution in finance. Every stock, every bond will be tokenized on a ledger. Do you believe tokenized assets are on the curse of mass adoption for global finance? And I believe that he meant on the course of mass adoption. But regardless, let's dive on in.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
And remember, right, like as we look at what's happening here, it's pretty crazy, right? Because you go back to 2021, all right, we were talking about tokenization, we were talking about DLT, we were talking about this new financial system, and like 3 years later, you now have the largest asset management companies out there, the largest US banks out there, now telling you what's going on. The good thing is that we were positioned before them. We were positioned before mass adoption even happens, and we are still positioned before the big money actually hits this market. That's the number one thing to focus on. Okay, the new financial system is here. It's no longer this idea that, oh no, maybe we will have a new financial system, maybe it will happen, I don't know, it's still too. No, it's happening. It's clear. You can clearly see this. And some of the projects out there, some of the names out there are involved in some way, shape, or form. Ripple has a lot of connections to these big players. Big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. We have Ripple Visa, Ripple Wells Fargo, and Ripple MasterCard. We have Product Vision, global cross network payments through one interface. We have Ripple with Visa there. There's a few other players on there as well. Then also over here, we have Swift. Wells Fargo is looking at this area using Ripple, as are lots of other banks. And this is more so like the conclusion of discussing the blockchain in detail. If banks can leverage this technology and how, yes, banks can use the ledger model, said an audience member. Why not? But whether they will or not is another matter. And then we have down there, our technology allows fiat and cryptocurrencies to exist in parallel. And then also over here, we have domestic CBDCs, and this is with MasterCard with their CBDC platform or project. This is with their partners, Ripple, and also Consensus, and also Fluency and Fireblocks. So yeah, like when we look at the connections here, Ripple has a lot of connections back to all of these players. Now, the big thing is that this is all through a shared ledger vision. Will XRP and the XRP ledger be tapped in? Nobody really knows for certain. But the way that I look at it is that multiple ledgers will be tapped in on a shared ledger. So the best way to view this is with Quant, right? You have Overledger. Overledger plugs and plays pretty much everything all into one, including multiple ledger technologies. So it's a shared ledger platform essentially for all DLTs of choice. That means that even RippleNet, technically RippleNet could be tied into Overledger. So the best way that I could describe this is you have the Overledger platform, which think of it as like the foundation, and you have all these connections going to networks, to ledgers. It's tying everything all into one. The traditional financial world is essentially now tapped in to the digital world. And yes, I do believe that QNT Quant will play a vital role in this. I also believe that Chainlink Link is a great option as well. I think that they will have a role to fill. But ultimately, it's going to be multiple winners. It's not just going to be a one size fits all. It's not just going to be Ripple and XRP. No, it's going to be multiple winners. But even over here from the BIS, go back to April 15th, the FNET. It's a vision for the future financial system with multiple interconnected financial ecosystems, much like the internet. Unified ledger. This is their plan of action. They've already told us their plan of action. In the FNET, unified ledgers would not only improve existing financial transactions, but also make entirely new financial products and transactions possible and empower individuals and businesses. Here you have the full application breakdown. Look at this. You have applications, e-banking, digital wallets, financial apps, non-financial apps. You have everything broken down here on the left and the right side in terms of central banks, commercial banks, asset management companies, private or public companies, real estate registers. Like, guys, this is everything. We're talking about tokenization as a whole. We're talking about everything of value all through this infrastructure. And yes, in my opinion, the foundation behind this, it could very well be the Interledger protocol being tied in with the Overledger platform. Like, all of this is going to be tied together. Quant is a great option. Ripple, obviously a great option. Like, there's a lot of great projects out there that I've been talking about for a very long time that could very well suit this project perfectly. And I'll talk about that here in a second, but I also want to go over here because remember, this is May 6th. Augustine Carson said, sometimes we need giant leaps that deliver a fundamental rethink of the financial system and foster the development of entirely new architectures. And the BIS has been fully focused on tokenization as well. Go and look at their recent discussions. Go look at their recent meetings. Like, they're talking about AI. They're talking about blockchain. They're talking about tokenization. Like, these are things that we have been addressing for so long. And now they're openly telling us about what's going on, what's happening, and how it's going to happen. It's very clear from my point of view on what's going on right now. And I've put out 2 posts behind this vision, behind this idea, where these products will be tapped in. I said over here on April 4th, regardless of what anyone says, it's clear that Ripple, Stellar, and Quant Network are helping build the new financial system infrastructure. I will continue to hold a percentage of XRP, XLM, and QNT for the inevitable future. The real money hasn't even touched this market yet, and utility does not matter yet. Everyone laughs at utility projects and thinks that utility is a joke. Regulations and standards are closer than ever. This is when all the connections and all the good news behind these projects become very important. You have people, out here that always talk down on these connections. They're like, oh, it's 2 years old, it's 3 years old. Oh, but it's so good news, but the price action isn't moving. Guys, it's because it doesn't matter. Right now, we're still in a market where people still think that meme coins have value. When in all actuality, you have people in those communities trading against you. Meme coins are simply just People getting liquidity to invest into blue chips. That's really all it is. And it's just a constant revolving cycle of them wash trading through these meme coins. They're useless. You have probably heard the comments, all this good news, but the price goes down. It's because nothing is implemented and being utilized right now. The foundation is still being built, and slowly but surely the pieces are falling into place. We are in the digital gold rush. This will be bigger than any technological advancement in history. Everyone has been talking about AI and how big it will be, but everyone is forgetting that AI needs blockchain to be adopted at scale. Focus on the big picture. Focus on the foundation, the fundamental layer to all of this, which is DLT and blockchain. And then also over here, this goes all the way back to August 11th of 2023. The age of utility is nearly upon us. We have found that the G20, instructed by the FSB with the help of the BIS and the IMF to create a global crypto regulatory framework. Back in June and July, I talked about this heavily. September is when the last and final framework is due. This will be a crucial document to read over and analyze. We also know that they confirm that crypto will be fully regulated globally by the end of 2025. Their timeline, utility will take over from that time on. We get regulations and onward, the days of a Bitcoin-driven market will soon be put behind us. It's impossible to think that some of the projects won't experience exponential growth over the next 5 to 10 years. We have game-changing technology in the space that is set to be utilized in scale. XRP, source liquidity on demand, unlock trapped capital and settle value transfers in 3 to 5 seconds. XLM, connecting the retail sector to a seamless and efficient value transfer service, making transactions extremely cost-effective and fast. XDC, tokenization, digitization platform to unlock liquidity and fully welcome trade finance into the new world. HBAR, the trust layer for the Web 3.0 economy, a pillar for scalable enterprise-grade applications and governed by a fully decentralized GC of global companies. Casper, the cure for the problems that plague existing enterprise blockchains, allows enterprises to evolve with the technology through upgradable smart contracts. Algo, accelerating the convergence of the traditional world and the digital world, and the list goes on, guys. As we really look at all of these great opportunities in this market, one thing is certain. The future is digital, and it's happening now. We are leading up to a big bang scenario where we finally usher into the utility age of blockchain and also DLT. When we look at what's happening here, the elites are already planning this. They've had this plan for a very long time. This Finternet is just the internet of value. But when we look at all of these great projects over here, you have XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Casper, Algorand, Quant, Nexera, LCX, DAG, and there's multiple other ones out there as well. When we look at all of these great projects, you're like, how can all of this be utilized? How is all of these players and these projects and these ledgers, how are they going to be tapped in? Well, it's all through that unified ledger. This is where you tap into specific DLTs, and all of them will play a vital role. That's why we look at what Overledger has been doing. This is why we focus on Quant, because they have this foundation, they have this infrastructure that is connecting everything all to one. As an enterprise grade company, or as a business or a bank, whatever the case may be, you want to be able to utilize XRP for liquidity on demand, right? But you also want to utilize XDC for tokenization around trade finance. You want to utilize XLM for remittances. You want to tap into HBAR for specific scalable enterprise applications. All right, well, maybe you want to utilize Casper as well for upgradable smart contracts. You can do that now. You're not tied down to just one platform or one project. Through Overledger, you are allowed to tap into any project, any DLT. This is why we look at what the BIS is planning with these unified ledgers. Because what this really means is it's not the BIS replacing these technologies. It's unified ledgers. Ledgers tied together all on one platform. This is literally what Quant has been telling us they've been working on for a very long time. This is why when we look at what's happening around these big US banks and these big players, you clearly see the vision becoming a reality. This is why we make these videos. This is why I talk about XRP. This is why I talk about QNT. This is why I talk about these utility projects, because everyone is so certain that utility is not going to be valuable. Oh, these utility projects are barely moving. Why should I invest into XRP when I can go invest into this meme coin? That's okay if you believe that. That's okay if you want to go and do that. Nobody's holding your hand through this. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. But when you clearly see the picture becoming a reality in front of you, it's very hard to ignore the facts. And the facts, in my opinion, will be that utility is going to be big. Go back to the .com bubble. There was billion-dollar companies that had zero value tied to them, and everyone thought that they were great. When in all actuality, Amazon and Google and Apple and Microsoft, they were the big winners. Blue chips. We have blue chips right in front of us. You could either ignore them or you can pay attention to them. Nobody's going to make you do any of that. That's your decision to make. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.